Well, good morning. This is the weekly weigh in. It's been 4 weeks since my last weekly weigh in, where I had been in a maintenance phase for this last 4 weeks. At the end of my last weekly weigh in, weighed in at 215 pounds, and my waistline was 33.3 inches. It was a great last weigh in. This weigh in, I'm not sure what we're going to be at. It's been 4 weeks. I know that I'm going to have increased at least 6 pounds for water weight. So that contributes to the 215. So we're talking 221. And I'm sure I have made a little gains in fat, maybe some muscle, assuming 3 pounds, maybe 2 to 3 pounds in fat and 1 pound in muscle. Plus, last night I did have half a pizza. I know I still have probably a good pound in my stomach, maybe even a little bit more. So I'm thinking getting on that scale right now, I'll probably be about 221, 24, 25. I would say around 225, 226 ish. Is kind of what I'm thinking. My plan is this first week when we do our next weigh in next week to lose all that water weight. That's going to be 6 pounds off. Plus, I would like to lose 3 pounds, 2 to 3 pounds in fat this first week. So, assuming that that would be true, if I weigh in at 220, let's say 225, and I lose 6, 7, 8, 9 pounds, that would put me in at 216. So by the end of next Friday, I should be very close to where I was at the end of my first cut, with that 1 pound difference. I'm hoping would be contributed to a pound of muscle gain in this last month. So that's kind of where my head is in this space. But nothing else to do but get on that scale, see where we really stand, and then we can go from there. So let's do that. All right, so 224, pretty much what I was expecting. 221 is water weight, at least 6 pounds of water weight. It could even be a little bit higher than that. That means the difference between that's 3 pounds. And I'm probably thinking, it could be all 3 pounds in fat. It could be 2 pounds in fat, 1 pound in muscle. I don't think it would be more than 1 pound in muscle. More than likely, it's a couple pounds in fat and 1 pound in muscle. That's optimistic scenario. Otherwise, it's just 3 pounds of fat. Either way, I should be able to make up that 2 to 3 pounds in fat in this first week and kind of get back to base by my second weekend. And then my second week, hoping to lose another 2 to 3 pounds within that second week. So overall, in the 2 weeks, I'll have net loss, let's say 2 to 3 pounds in 2 weeks, which doesn't seem like a lot, but these are baby steps, right? And then at that point, I'll probably go back into a 2 week maintenance period instead of a 4 week. It was pretty long. So I think I'll go back to a 2 week maintenance period and then back to a cut period, back and forth. It just, for me, it works better. I can't sustain a cut for very long and I go crazy. So to me, this short bursts helps to sustain my cuts better if you have the willpower and you can cut and stay consistent over the course of 4 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever your cut is. You're going to be in probably better shape. I am cutting when I do go into my 2 week. I do cut pretty extreme. My maintenance levels was around 2,800 to 3,000 calories per day, and I'm going to be cutting down to 1,500 calories. So we're talking a good, potentially 1,500 a day uh, deficit, which is pretty extreme. And at that point, you can't expect between 2 to 3 pounds in fat loss. But if you don't do such a huge deficit, you expect 1 to 2 pounds on average. So let's check the waistline again. The waistline is really going to tell us how much of that is fat. If my waistline is still around 33.3, which I know it's not, but if it was, then I could tell you that that was all muscle gain, and I know it wasn't. Um, but if that waistline has gone up, that's a couple things, obviously, right? Water retention is going to increase that waistline, but also fat, right? That's where I accumulate my fat first. So that is a sure sign that I have accumulated fat is when I see that waistline go up. But so let's check that waistline and see where we're at. All right. So we just checked the waistline. We definitely went up. We're at 34.8. So we went up a whole inch, a little more than an inch since our last weigh-in. And that's to be expected. Again, because of the water retention, I expected at least a half inch just for that alone. And then again, we said we're contributing about at least 2 pounds to fat gain. So that's going to contribute to another good inch or half inch around the waistline. It's nothing to be discouraged about. We should be able to get that back at the end of this next check-in. So next Friday, I expect us to be around 216 with right back at that 33.3-inch waistline. That's the goal. Meet me next Friday. Let's see if we hit it. Talk to you then.